Movie sequels have been the subject of numerous controversies for decades now, and it's not really hard to see why. When great movies like Tintin or Guns Akimbo get no proper follow-up and risk falling into oblivion, it kind of feels like a slap in the face seeing titles like Resident Evil and Open Season of all things getting turned into franchises. And let me tell you, I am in a state of perpetual agony when it comes to this topic due to the fact that I am a horror fan. Insidious 1 and 2 are some of my favourite horror movies, so you can imagine my disappointment with the rest of the series. The second movie was pretty much a perfect ending because there was pretty much nothing to do after that if you actually think about it for more than 5 seconds. Dalton and his dad were finally safe, and Elise became a ghost watching over them, making sure her work lived on. That pretty much wraps up everything perfectly, but nope, they had to keep going because of money. And you'll probably see that happening a lot in this video. The same thing applies to the Conjuring series, to be honest, because as much as I like James Wan, he really can't write anything other than the first 2 movies in his series without dropping the ball completely. I Know What You Did Last Summer really should have ended after the second movie because the third is notorious for being completely horrible. It's one of the only movies in the series I didn't actually watch myself, and I am so thankful for James and Janice showing me why that was a good idea. The only original thing that it actually tries to do is the death that sparks the whole story in motion, because they probably knew they couldn't even touch the greatness of the original scene. It has the exact same look as most indie horrors you can find on Tubi, and just like most Tubi movies, it actually has 1 or 2 enjoyable moments, but they're weighed down by everything else that happens in this fucking movie. You're probably expecting me to talk about the Chucky movies now, but I'm not even gonna go there, because despite all of their problems, they all deserve to exist. Yes, that includes Seed of Chucky, and yes, I am being biased. Shut up.
Oops, I did it again.
Being a massive fan of Telltale's The Walking Dead means I'm basically obligated to mention the Clementine comics. They piss me off on a whole other level, because as much as people hate the term strong female character, Clementine really was the perfect example of how to do that before they just completely shat the bed with her. She went from a scared little girl who lost her parents to a complete fucking badass who could fully plan out warfare tactics to save and protect the people she cares about. And after she finally finds AJ after A New Frontier, she also finds a new home in the school during the final season, meaning they don't have to constantly scavenge for food and can actually live with people their own age. But then Tilly Walden decided that just isn't good enough. So Clementine abandons AJ and the romantic partner the player chose because she just isn't happy. Like, fuck you, man. I didn't grow up with Clementine for an entire decade just to watch her get turned into whatever the fuck she is in those comics. And the worst part is that Lee would be so goddamn disappointed in her, man. He charged through an entire horde of walkers while bitten to save her in some of his last moments on Earth because he swore to himself he'd protect her. But she's not feeling happy, so she abandons AJ forever. I'm gonna move on before this takes over the entire list because I can rant about this for hours, man. I got the idea for this video when it dawned on me that Shrek 5 is basically just an Illumination movie hidden behind the DreamWorks banner so they can show everyone they own the franchise now, and God fucking help us when they try and make the Dronkies the new Minions, which you know is gonna fucking happen. Everyone online has already predicted most of the plot just from the fact that it's a kids movie where the main character's daughter is a teenager, because that story only ever goes one way in animation. No, you're my little girl, you're too young to date. You gotta let her grow up sometime. We just went on a wild adventure and probably almost died. So I guess I'm okay with you dating now. Oh, Dad, I love you so much. I'm just praying it ends up being better than Ice Age Continental Drift, which I know isn't saying anything at all. But please make it better than this piece of shit. I personally have the opinion that the first Hotel Transylvania is a genuinely good movie despite having that premise. The original was about Dracula learning to accept humans, so him being disappointed at the possibility of his grandson also being human in the second one kind of feels like we're back where we started. Part of why I love the first movie so much is because there was actual depth in the characters. Dracula was the best character mostly because of the reason why he hates humans so much. That backstory is golden, man. Even the cinematography in this scene is peak. And his reason for being angry with Johnny towards the end was so much more than him just being angry about him kissing Mavis, which I really did like.
How could you? After I shared my pain with you?
And on top of that, Johnny actually had a personality that wasn't just being a stupid human. He found joy in traveling the world and was actually looking forward to sharing that joy with Mavis. That never ended up happening, but anyway. When he learns the history of Dracula, he understands the pain that came from that event and even offers to leave. So seeing what he became in the sequels was just so depressing, man. I haven't watched anything past the second movie, and judging by what I've seen, I'm choosing to keep it that way.
What's up?
60 man.
And keeping on a similar topic, I'm honestly getting sick of Hollywood thinking kids aren't intelligent enough to follow an emotionally driven story anymore. And Kung Fu Panda 4 is a perfect example of that. The first 3 films are genuinely one of my favorite trilogies of all time, and I say that with zero shame. They wrapped up the story perfectly, so seeing how they desecrated it for the sake of making money in this next one is just honestly so heartbreaking. The series I love because it taught me as a kid that sometimes you need to confront your past rather than hiding from it turned into a money-making opportunity that doesn't even try to have a strong message. I understand the whole master has to find a new person to take his role premise is really popular in these kind of movies, but why did they need to make the apprentice Aquafina, man? I actually want to enjoy listening to the actor's voice performance without thinking about that stupid Scuttle song.
You shut the fuck up! You shut the fuck up! You shut—
Not only did they completely waste Ian McShane, but they also cast Viola Davis in this amazing series and gave her the weakest antagonist we've seen so far. That's just so wrong on so many levels. And while we're on the topic of animation, I feel like I basically have to talk about at least one of the Disney straight-to-video sequels. So I decided to go with The Return of Jafar. My first problem with this movie is the fact that they cast Robin Williams because they didn't keep their word about using him in merchandise for the first movie.
Did you rub my lamp? Did you wake me up? Did you bring me here?
I really do like Dan
Castellaneta
because of how much he contributed to my childhood. And he really does give it his absolute all. But it still falls completely flat to me compared to the legend himself. Which is kind of expected, to be fair, so that's not really any fault to Dan himself. Also, it felt so weird hearing a toned-down version of Homer's voice. Every time he yelled, I was just waiting for him to bust out with the classic. They give Iago a redemption arc and make that one of the biggest plot points in the movie, which is an interesting choice, to be honest. I like Gilbert Gottfried as much as everyone else, but did we really need 2 songs of him talking over music? I don't even want to call it singing, man. I don't know what it is. I'm pretty sure it's mostly there so we can watch the couple we watched get together in the first movie have problems for 2 scenes and a single song. And also so Jafar actually has someone to work for him that isn't that stupid fucking thief I can't even remember the name of. I literally watched this 4 hours ago, man. I'm not gonna make fun of the animation because I just know the team probably got paid $20 per frame, because Disney didn't give a shit about these sequels apart from making money from video sales. And I think right here's a good place to wrap up this video before I drive myself insane. So I'm going to finish this off by mentioning the fact that Shark Boy and Lava Girl is getting 2 sequels when the absolute gem Real Steel didn't even get 1. That should be considered a crime against humanity.
What the fuck is that about? I can't change my gene pool, I'm proud of who I am. I don't give a fuck what they say, I'll proudly rip my culture every song and every day. I'm the man with the fire on his face, I'm insidious. Say I'm looking bad in my okay, you're delirious. Shout out to my family, you're the ones who'll be hearing this. Kinda funny how this all started just for band gigs.